the deadline initially was supposed to be the end of February yesterday. It's now extended to March the 15th. So I wanted to just have a chat with you for a couple of moments about what that means for us at Trades&L and what it really means for people in the province, and why I think people need to be tuned into sort of the process and where the process might lead. So as you know, of course, our membership built the site way back when we had the very first project there, the Hibernia development, and we've constructed all major projects that have been done there to date. And when that site has been operational, there's been tremendous spin-off benefits for not only local communities in the Arnold's Cove area, but as far away as Glovertown and Clarenville area. And in most cases, when there's been work on that site, there's been work down in Marystown Shipyard and in other parts of the province. So I guess for that reason, it's important from our perspective that whatever happens to the site, we need to maintain an ability to construct resource development projects out there. The other piece I would say, Paddy, is we do believe, though, that there is an opportunity for more work in Bull Arm than we've been seeing. It's a world-class site, and there's, I think, at least potential for that site to be operational on a more regular basis, doing smaller scopes of work while still maintaining the ability to do resource development work should the opportunity arise in the future, whether that be oil and gas, such as the Equinor Beta Nord project, or some wind hydrogen projects. There's a tremendous port there and other facilities that would work in either of those resort development opportunities. So I just wanted to kind of raise the flag on it for communities and for people out there that is at play right now. There's a number of proponents that I'm aware of that are looking at the site, and I'm not sure exactly what their business model entails, but I'm very hopeful that it does entail a scope where it's available for future resource development work, but that there's a vision to attract more work on a regular basis that will obviously bring work for our membership, bring work for local contractors, and equally as important, support local communities in the region.
Fair enough. What gives you pause for concern here that the facility wouldn't be utilised for the exact task it was built for?
Well, the only reason for pause for concern is that the RFP can be a lease or sale agreement, and if the site were sold, it's not out of the realm of possibility that a private developer could buy the site and not make it available for future development. So if a company like Equinor or some other wanted to come in and build a gravity-based structure or do subsea work, the gates could be locked and it could be unavailable, which could in turn potentially force construction work out of the province.
Yeah, fair enough. But, it's like currently, some of the concerns were, say, for instance, when DF Barnes took over operations, that it wasn't a unionised site, but people were paid the exact same or more, and the work was flowing, and the work was productive, and it was getting done. So maybe you know something I don't know, or we're not filling in all the boxes here as to why you think that site will not be utilised as it's intended, because I'd be shocked if that was the case, and I'd be shocked if government accepted an offer or a bid that didn't include exactly that. Sure.
So I guess two responses to your comment. First of all, my advocacy at this point is not for unionised work. It's just
I wasn't trying to imply that. Good.
Sure. And secondly, I'm not suggesting that government won't support the model that I've talked about. All I'm saying, though, is that I don't think anybody should leave it to chance and trust. We've seen lots of things happen in the past over the last 25 or 30 years where decisions get made and people get engaged after the fact. I don't have any reason to suspect government wouldn't be pursuing the same kind of model. I'm just raising it as a flag for people and saying that I think people should be tuned into it and paying attention to what's happening, because the last thing I think any of us would want to see is that the site would be passed over or sold in a manner that restricts the use only to the person or to the entity that buys the site. So that's really the purpose of my call, is just to and we've been engaged, Paddy, with local communities and local chambers of commerce. We wrote some letters just to say, hey, make sure this is on your radar. It's important for the economic development of the region and the entire province, really, going forward. And we just want to make sure people are tuned in, that's all. And it's not raising flags as much as raising awareness.
Fair enough, because you're right in saying that generally any of the pushback or feedback is offered after the fact, which is too late. The horse has left the barn. So, Darren, just in generic terms, here we are, April 9th, a decision coming on World Energy GH2. We know some of the conversations that were had in Lab West about the opportunities therein, which would include, of course, mining expansion and other areas of life. But then the big question would be, the skilled trades that are here in the province or in the country to accommodate some of these big projects, because some of them might all come in one fell swoop. Now, that's the cockeyed optimism, I guess, inside me speaking. So whether it be
for the trades workers, good news for the province and for local communities and developers. We're pretty actively engaged on that file, Paddy, both internally. We just recently launched a new College of Skilled Trades NL to open up seats for training. We're doing a partnership on a project with EcoNext, looking at the labour requirements for the wind hydrogen projects. Down the road, the big thing here that I see happening that I haven't seen happen in the past is that there's a lot more planning going into the wind hydrogen, a lot more engagement with labour and other stakeholders to plan in advance of the projects. I don't think we'll have difficulty supplying labour in the province between Trades NL and non-union side. But I do believe it's important that the planning continue, because if we're aware in advance of the numbers of trades that we're going to require for these projects, and we believe that we're going to be short, then it provides an opportunity for us, College of the North Atlantic, and other training institutes to train up people and make sure that we have the skilled trades opportunities that are available. And it provides an opportunity for us, College of the North Atlantic, and other training institutes to train up people and make sure that we have the skilled trades opportunities that are available. At the end of the day, if there's more jobs available, then there's going to be trades workers that are currently existing. And I think that's good news, as long as we know it well enough in advance so that local people, whether that's youth or those who want to retrain, can do the appropriate training and make themselves available for those opportunities and take advantage of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to say this properly, but government might have to take this into careful consideration with maybe staggered approvals. Now, that's not going to be welcomed by various proponents, but it might be pragmatic. So I don't know how that works, but we can't set ourselves up for disaster, because that could happen. Let's say, for instance, if one of the big projects all of a sudden says, even after a green light is given or a final approval, and we can't find the workers, and we know that government has piled all these projects on top of each other, which of course comes with a built-in problem. So government might have to be very wise and strategic with the pace of play here.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, and I've been advocating for that even back to my days previously when I was in politics myself. I think we've made some mistakes along the way. At one point with Muskrat Falls and Hebron and Valley project operating simultaneously, like in retrospect, the staggering of those projects, I think could have made a big difference to the province. So I think you're absolutely right. As an observation with no inside information, I would say it appears to me that nature might stagger these projects anyway, based on what I'm seeing. My sense is that these proponents are all at very different stages of development. So if you get, a particular project like World Energy, they seem to be out front, at least right now. By the time they get civil work done and move into mechanical side, then that frees up those trades to do other civil work when another project starts. So some of this might just take care of itself by way of the process that's unfolding. But I absolutely agree with you. The best scenario would be if these project start dates staggered, by a year or so each.
Yeah, and that might happen organically, as you rightfully point out. So I guess it all remains to be seen. And that's not an endorsement or a condemnation of any industry and or potential approval. But anyway, people understand what we're getting at. Very quickly, has there been anything inside the umbrella of Trades NL, any one union or another, who is no longer being represented by Trades NL? Like, for instance, has the Carpenters Union or any others splintered out or no longer in the building? Because there's a question being raised on that front.
Yeah, the carpenters and millwrights are currently not a part of Trades NL. That's not a public discussion as much as an internal issue that we're working through. But currently, as we speak today, they're not part of the umbrella of Trades NL.
No further elaboration available?
No, it's certainly. It's not even an issue really that's for me to discuss. It's at my council level, and it's between the business managers and the internationals. So it's things that we're working through. Things happen in families from time to time, and you splinter off, and you have disagreements, and the hope would be that that'll rectify itself in due course. But having said all that, in terms of the work that we do provincially and nationally, we're continuing to work with the carpenters. They're partners with us on the West White Rose project in Argential, and they'll continue to be working with us on future projects, the carpenters and the millwrights, excuse me. So from a perspective of someone who's looking to use the trades, I don't think you'll see a particularly big issue there. We'll continue to work together. But what's happening right now is more of an internal operational issue that we're working through.
I appreciate the time this morning, Darren. Thanks.
Thanks, Paddy, and I'll look forward to probably giving you a call in another week or so. We've got a few other topics outside of Bull Arm that are happening that I'd love to have a chat with you further about.
Happy to take them on.
Take care. Have a great weekend.
You too, Darren. Bye-bye.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Darren King, Executive Director of Trades and L. Let's take a break. When we come back on line number 2 is Richard Cashin. Looking forward to that one. Don't go away.
Call now.